For each of these sausage and egg muffins, they're 464 calories and 47 grams of protein. Now I am cheating a little bit here because this isn't sausage meat, it is actually beef mince and it's very low in calories compared to sausage meat. These work out to be about 165 calories per patty. Now in case you wanted to change up the meat and not use beef, turkey mince is the exact same amount of calories at 165 as the 95% lean beef. Chicken mince is 165 calories per patty. Pork mince then jumps up quite a bit to 216 calories per patty. And then the reason I didn't use sausage meat is because it's the highest in calories. It's 276 calories per patty. Now in a bowl, add 720 grams or 25.4 ounces of low-fat beef mince. This is 95% lean. Add in 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of sweet paprika, 2 teaspoons of ground fennel seeds, season with some salt, and hit it up with some cracked black pepper, 20 cracks worth. Let's then use clean hands and start mixing this all together, making sure all of those spices are thoroughly mixed through that meat. And it's the exact same spice quantity, regardless of what meat you choose to use. What we're looking for is a nice big clump of meat that looks like this. Because I was so specific with the 720 grams of meat, that divided by 6 is 120 grams. So we'll go through and weigh these all out. That way we'll have even amounts and you can track the calories and macros a lot better. Once you have them weighed out, just roll them in your hands. And what you're looking for, something that looks like that. We'll then go through, just continue weighing these out, make sure they're 120 grams. And that then leaves us with 6 even meat patties. The last thing to do before we cook them is shape them into those flat round discs or flat patties, and I do recommend shaping them a little bit bigger than the muffins, that way it compensates for any shrinkage that does usually happen when you cook meat. Now to get these cooking, place a large pan over a medium-high heat. Add enough spray oil to cover the surface. We don't need to add too much and it works out to be a very small amount of calories. Add in about 2 to 3 patties at a time. Don't overcrowd the pan, otherwise they'll steam and won't get a nice sear on them. And then season to taste with salt and cracked black pepper. 10 cracks worth. Sear for 2.5 to 3 minutes on each side. The amount of time it's going to take to cook these depends on how far you've squashed them down. Obviously, the thinner they are, the quicker they'll cook. And once cooked through and seared on both sides, remove and set aside and repeat with any remaining batches. Place that same pan back over a medium-high heat, add in a little bit more spray oil, and this time we're going to be cooking eggs, and I'm using egg rings, but you can go freestyle if you want. I only have 4 egg rings, so obviously I'm going to be doing 4 at once and then 2 after. Crack in your eggs, season them with a little bit of salt, and we're going to cook these for about 3 to 3.5 minutes until fully cooked through. I'm also breaking the yolk just because it makes it a lot easier to store. We don't want anything leaking out of these muffins when they're fully done. Of course, if you prefer that though, you can do it. Another little tip for these is to place a lid on as well. It just allows that top to cook a lot better. And after about 3 minutes, remove those egg rings, or if you've gone freestyle, don't even worry about that. And then flip the eggs over. We're going to sear them for about 30 seconds on the opposite side just to seal off that top and get a little bit more browning. My egg rings must not have been completely flat because some little bits of white did leak out. That's why it's all stuck together. So just go through and break it up. You can leave that on or trim it off and have it as a little snack. That choice is all yours. Once they're done though, remove them and set them aside, and then repeat with any remaining batches. Also, if you're not using egg rings, don't overcrowd the pan. Now the last thing we're going to need is 6 English muffins. We can then slice these open. Depending on what brand you get, some already come pre-sliced, which makes your life a little bit easier. And there's a couple of different ways that we can toast these. You can just use a regular toaster. You can use the pan that we cook the beef and the eggs in, put them under the grill or the broiler. The choice is all yours. When you're ready to serve, you can do this in any order you like, but I like to place the cheese on the bottom. I'm using low-fat cheese slices. You can use any cheese of your choice. Of course, the macros will change if you do use higher fat content. Place the meat patties over the top. This is going to help melt the cheese if it doesn't fully melt right now. If you've let the patties cool down for a little bit, it doesn't really matter because when you reheat them after, the cheese will melt. Then finally, place over those eggs on top. And you're probably wondering that I'm not using any sauce right now, which I'll explain in a minute. Place on the tops and make sure you've matched the same muffin tops and bottoms to each one, otherwise they'll be a little bit inconsistent and different sizes. And after all of that, we've got these sausage and egg muffins. Of course, you can change these up, make them your own. The macros will change if you do that, but these are perfect for storing the way they are. This right here is the sausage and egg muffin macro card, and this right here is for a single serve. Also, the full written recipe is listed in the description. Once you have these all made, let them cool down for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then you can wrap them up, put them in food safe paper, Ziploc bags, meal prep containers, or even aluminium foil or aluminum foil. Chuck them in the fridge, they'll last up to 4 days, and you can put them in the freezer for up to 3 months. If you have frozen them, allow them to thaw overnight in the fridge before trying to reheat. Please don't try and reheat them from frozen, it just doesn't work and these will dry out drastically. But if you do want to reheat these, you can place them in the microwave, place them in a pan, put them in the oven, toasty machine, that type of thing. Just do whatever's easiest for you. With that all said and done, there's only one thing left to do, and that is we can then dig in. Now I can tell you straight off the bat that that definitely needs a sauce. The only reason I didn't add it is because all different sauces have different macros or calorie amounts, and I didn't want to get into any confusion me using a sauce that you might not have. Other than that, it is absolutely delicious. There's a lot of flavor in that meat. The meat's juicy and you can really taste that fennel, but of course if you don't like fennel, you don't have to use it. The egg's nice and soft, it's juicy as well. And then the cheese obviously melts through and you have the texture from that toasted bun. Other than that, it is really delicious. I highly recommend you make it yourself. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, leave a comment for that algorithm, and don't forget to subscribe along with hitting the bell notification next to it so you don't miss when I upload. All of that really does help me out, by the way, and I really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.